Okay, so hey everybody, welcome to our third meeting. I have our conversation llama. So let's just revisit the rules real quick. Remember that everything we say in here is confidential, right? So I want you guys to feel safe and like you can share anything you need to share. So anything we say in here will not leave this room. And just respect each other and what each other says. And so part of the way we're going to do that is that whenever we do a going around like we did last time, if you want to talk, you get the conversation llama and you get to hold it. And then when it's somebody else's turn, they get the conversation llama, okay? And always, as always, be encouraging and supportive at all times and speak life, right? Okay. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is this little thing. I had each of you write down a positive experience you've had as a foreign exchange student. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go around the circle, and it's like we'll start with Laura. Laura's going to pick one and read it and try to guess and see who it is.
Ooh. What is when I pick
What if she picks mine?
Then put it back. If you pick her, I'll put it back. Okay. Keep along with you. It travels with the cup.
Okay. Meeting a very different person than me and learning how to love them, which teaches me now to be not judgmental and that loves. I don't know what that word is. Last one.
What do you think? Unstoppable.
I think it's Jessie.
I knew it. My expression gave it away.
Wait, what did you say?
Oh, I said my expression gave it away.
Oh.
So do I speak now?
Do you want to be the one to guess now since you were the one? Do that.
I know everybody.
Keep it?
Or
Keep it.
Definitely not gonna be good. Oh, I already know from the handwriting. Met a lot of new people that I know. They'll be true friendship forever. Is it Rooney?
No.
That's the handwriting.
All right, pass it to Rooney.
I got 3 new big sisters and I love them so much.
True.
Oh
Yeah, you are. Yeah, it's turn.
Oh no, I don't know. Oh. Getting a cake by my host mom on birthday.
A cake baked by your host mom on birthday? What do you think?
Oh.
Oh, what kind of cake was it, Cindy?
Like when I got back home, she like baked this cake and she had like everything planned.
City.
And it was like my favorite color cake. And
Oh.
like she just does cake
She's
so often. Like
amazing.
she made like Jesse's cake, like a dream catcher.
catcher.
Like she's fabulous.
And with like a little cupcakes down there, the same thing, and she did the feathers and all
Do you have a
that.
picture?
gosh.
That's so cool.
Yeah, you need to show us that
Very
sometime.
cool. I'm not doing over this long.
Okay. All right, your turn.
Go to sleep over friend's house. That's it.
Because I never fell asleep over.
Oh, really? So the first time you got to
Did
go
Maria
spend the
get
night?
her own like Facebook?
Oh no! Zero. Well, Maria, share what. Give her the llama. You have to share the llama, Cindy. I know you love it.
That's yours.
What is yours, Maria?
Poor Maria.
That she got the opportunity to course classes that she didn't.
Like that you didn't get to take back home. Awesome. Very good. Okay. Good job, everybody. That was fun. All right, so let's talk about one of the things I wanted to talk to y'all about. I realize we have a little bit of time before you actually go home, but I wanted to talk about transitioning back home because would you all say that when you came here, you had a certain amount of culture shock?
Yeah.
Yeah, does anybody want to share a quick culture shock experience that he's going to have to share the llama?
No, I'll share it first.
Okay.
I have a lot.
Okay, go.
Okay. So like in my country, like food takes so long to make, and here just everybody just microwaves like everything and anything, and that's like so different to me. Like
Yeah.
even for cooking rice, they're like, okay, microwave for like 9 seconds. It doesn't work like that. in my
What?
country.
Yeah.
Like people don't do that usually. Like even if you have microwave, that's not what you do.
Okay.
For me, it was mostly like hard to make friends, and I was shocked with the idea of personal bubble.
Explain that a little bit more.
That like when there's someone you have to stay like you have to not get in their personal bubble basically, not get too close to them. Like one time we would sit with a girl on lunch the next day, like she didn't sit with us and we thought, okay, let's go sit with her.
Yeah.
And then we realized that she didn't want to sit with us. She's like, don't get in my personal bubble, and that was really shocking for me.
Yeah. It's different, right? Okay.
I have two things. The first thing is like I know Mark can do that thing when you like do your dishes and you put the stuff in like all food and you just put it on and like
The
cuts it.
dishwasher?
No, not the dishwasher, like in the
The-
sink that thing.
The
like-
garbage disposal.
the garbage
Yeah,
disposal.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I agree. Like that's a very nice thing.
Oh.
And then like not cussing, like bad words saying.
Oh.
That's another thing. Like when I came, he was like, "You can't say that, can't do that, can't say that." That was like weird because we would just say what we think. Like
Yeah.
you can't say like the real opinion, like face to face, like what you really think. You just have to like say it nice and stuff like that. And we wouldn't do that. We just would say the truth.
So do you feel like you've gotten better at it?
Yeah, I guess. I hope so.
I mean, it's.
I've never felt
I
like you were
haven't
rude.
noticed that. No.
Yeah.
Well, I got that.
That's funny.
I want to just say something really fast. I just appreciate your honesty though too, because that's one thing that I think that we Americans do is kind of like gloss over things, and so I have appreciated your candor. You know, just your honest, straightforward.
But it hasn't come off as rude.
No,
to me at
no.
all,
I like it. So
Yeah.
sorry, I just wanted to throw that out there.
For me, it was like the behavior at school. Because in Spain, it's, well, at least at Northern. So, but it's like, you have to be super, I don't know how to say it, like, obedient.
Mhm.
Like, don't talk at all. Like,
It's
just having a bottle of water, it's wrong. So, like, I got here and everyone was doing whatever they wanted. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, same.
I was like, okay. And, like, eating or whatever. Like, we get in trouble if we are gum.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
So
it's
much
crazy.
Maria. Morgan school.
I think that depends kind of the high school, because in my high school they told you don't eat but also teachers don't care. But it's more kind of like in here, like if you say the bad word, they will feel like no. But in there, I remember saying bad words even in the hallway, or even people kissing on the highway.
Really?
Yeah.
And they don't care?
Like in the corner,
Yeah.
and they don't care.
Wow.
Really?
No, we're
They don't
not
get in
allowed to do
trouble?
No. Oh my god.
Wow.
that. Yeah.
So it's only in class they
But
care
it's real
about?
strict.
Oh, for us,
But
it's
not for you
all
though?
the time.
I got people that were kissing in class.
Yeah. Sue.
Oh, well, my Photoshop is like when I come to school and then like I saw like a lot of powers like half each eye and then I was like, and then like giving out like, oh wait, what something. But even I see like my host mom, my host dad, I was like, what? I was like, no, I don't want to say that, no.
You're just not used to that.
Or
We just
or
not, we just not get used to
like
it.
first time I came and I saw a couple. Oh, sorry, not please. First time I came and I saw a couple kissing each other, and teachers stopped them in here. I realized, but there wasn't a teacher. I was like, okay, I'm just not gonna look. And I got in the class and acted like I'm not there.
One thing is like with the kissing, we could do it in school, like during breaks. They don't care about what we're doing. So it was like weird when they say like I couldn't do that in school. Like, oh, we could do that during the break. Like it wouldn't. Nobody would care if we did that in the hallway or something. So it was like, I don't know. It's a little bit strict here.
Yeah. Okay.
I got something to say.
Okay, one last thing and then we gotta do it.
Okay.
Okay.
So like the fridges in here give water, our fridges don't do that.
Oh yeah, like the little water filter thing?
Yeah,
What
they
about
don't do
ice?
that. Like they don't give ice, they don't
You
give
just
water.
make the ice, put it in
Yeah.
the freezer.
Oh yeah, do that.
That's what you do. That's what we do.
Are you gonna miss that?
Yeah, sort of. It's so easier, like to stand there water.
Okay, so look, I'm gonna give everybody a copy of this or take one and pass it around, and you wanna look at the side that is highlighted that says reverse culture shock.
Yeah, we're
So-
gonna have orientations. They already told us about it back home.
Yes.
When we,
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, cause it is gonna be weird to go back and different, and you guys have changed while you're here, and your friends have been doing life as normal there,
I'm
so it's
scared.
going to be a whole thing. So one of the things I did research on for this group was looking up kind of what some of the groups, like what y'all have come from, the organizations that you've come through, what they recommend or what they walk students through that have been foreign exchange students before, as far as what to expect with reverse culture shock going back home. So these are kind of typical phases that you might experience. So the first one talks about the honeymoon phase, which I know that some of y'all have said, I don't want to go home, I'm not ready to go back and all that. But when you first get there, you'll probably be happy to see your parents and your family and your friends and all the people you've missed. And so at first it's kind of exciting to get to see everybody that you've missed, and you get your favorite food that you haven't gotten to have since you've been here. They're gonna make they're gonna spoil you and make all your favorite
all gonna
meals.
miss you and be like,
Yes, and like you get to be the star of the family for a while. So that is kind of the first phase to expect. And then the second phase. Does anybody want to read that one for me?
Okay. Phase 2, confusion and frustration. After days or weeks, what is that? Euphoria of home may wear off. You may become irritated by things that have never bothered you before. Once you have experienced another culture, you may have realized that there are ways of doing things, and you may miss what you have learned abroad.
I know one thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
what would be one
Do
thing?
it. Give an example.
How American people cut apples. Like,
Yeah.
you don't care how it looks like, you just cut it around. And we will like look at it looks good, like we cut it and like put the stuff in the middle out so
Yeah.
it's nice and you just cut it around.
So you're gonna miss that?
No, I'm gonna do that like Americans.
Oh.
It's way easier.
For the honeymoon and for the frustration, I guess I will see that.
Mm-hmm.
And even though like when they told us the ways we're gonna like how it's gonna be here, the phases, for me it was all over the place. It wasn't straight right. But I can see how I'm gonna do that, especially like when I go home, because in here you're pretty independent, you do what you want and blah blah blah. At home, like in Jordan, it's not. I mean, you have to follow the family rules and like just do what your mom says and just sometimes in here you can just be you or do it the way you want because they're not your real parents. Sometimes they're not really strict as your real parents.
Right.
And I'm gonna miss that. So I'm gonna be frustrated.
Right.
About like for me, it's totally the opposite. Like,
Really?
yeah, in Spain, my parents don't really care. I mean, of course they care about me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't have to tell them, like, I'm going out with a friend and I'll be back, like, at that time. And here, for the exchange student rules and stuff, like, I have to tell them who am I going with, where am I going with, and I'm like, it's not bad, but
Yeah.
in Spain, it's more like, it's whatever.
Right.
So that's gonna be better.
Yeah, it's like the strict side and the not strict side at all.
Go right this time.
I think it's more like when I'm to be like I'm going to try to do something and my mom is going to be behind like, no, I do it.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
it's always like doing everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be like, no, I will it.
Right. So you've gotten more independent here, right? And you think your mom's gonna try to be like, I can do it for you.
Yeah, but also that what she said in another way, and when you're
Mhm.
going to your friends to the point that going outside,
Mhm.
they are like less control, but another thing like advancing things that they do more to you.
Yeah. So kind of control, right? That'll be an issue that you're not.
No, and for me, it's
or
also
gift
like
city.
the education system in here.
Oh,
It's so easy for me, and over
Yeah.
there, it's like so difficult. Like tests every day, and like even if it's like 0.5, it means a lot of difference and all that stuff, and that's gonna frustrate me because in here there's so many college opportunities and all of that, but in my country for every single thing there are like lakhs and crores of people, like just so many people. Like my country's like second populated. So like there's so many more people, so you have to fight harder. Like even if you're the most brightest student in your class, that's not enough.
Right. Okay. Ooh, I just want.
Do you have your charger?
Yeah, I do. Let me grab that real quick. Okay, so let's go to the next one real quick.
Where is
So
it?
It's in my backpack right back there behind my desk, somewhere in the depths of it. Okay, so let's move on to phase 3 nostalgia. Rooney, will you read that for me?
Which one?
Phase 3 nostalgia.
You may begin to deeply miss your host country, family, and friends. It is typical for foreign exchange students to experience a period of sadness and loss regarding the life they left in their home country.
Right.
The concept of home may be more real than it was before you lived overseas. You have considered multiple places home, and you may feel as though you do not completely belong in either place.
Okay, so that last part where it says you may feel as though you don't completely belong in either place. I mean, did y'all feel that as you came here?
I felt it so bad.
Yeah.
I was like, Jesse, you don't belong here. You're not American. What are you doing? This is not your country, literally. Like, first month, I would say that every day to myself. And I don't feel like, especially when you still are not very connected with your host family, not very connected with friends in here, you would definitely feel that.
Yeah.
It's like, I was like, no, that's not my place. I'm gonna go.
Right.
Yeah, one of the first weeks, the week that I was going on all the schedule stuff, and I was crying in your class and everything. Like, I remember when I got out, I literally was thinking, like, I don't belong here. I was like, maybe I can go back to Spain and see if I can go back to, because I was like, no. Like, no
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
And then
I was
it
feeling
got
the
there really fast.
Yeah, I got to one point that I didn't even know what I want to do because I was kind of like, that's not for me. But it is also go back to Spain is not for me neither. Because I was kind of like I didn't even know if I was going to fit again if I go back, and it was kind of like I not fit here.
Right.
So I was like very confused.
Right.
Well, help me with that, Hamilton.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you.
I'm a blessing, I know, thank you.
You are.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like when I came here, I was like, "What's the point of this thing? Like, I don't even know why I came here. Like, I just like sit and just study, and I don't have friends." I was like, "What? Should I go back home?" But if I go back home, my mom will be like, "Let's go back home," or
Right.
something like that. So I have to be like, "Okay, keep going," and then it gets better.
Yeah, but you don't realize it gets better when you're in that room.
And for me, it's like I've already been a junior in my country, so this year for me is more like a gap year. So like when I go back home, I'll have to redo like my senior year. Like although I've been done it, I should have been a senior here, but I wasn't. So like when I go back home, I'll have to repeat 1 year. So like I would always think about like, hey, why did I even come here? And like now, like I'll be like, okay, let's go back home or whatever. Then all the people are gonna be like, oh, why did you even go there? We told you shouldn't have done that.
Right.
Like it's so hard in that phrase. Like you don't know what to do, and you have to pretend to be normal, and just like live life and tell yourself, oh, you know what, it's all okay or whatever, and still like finish all the school assignments and all that stuff. It's very hard.
So is it weird?
I remember the conversations I used to have with Sydney. We used to sit like on our beds and be just crying and like, why was that our dream? Why didn't we want? And sometimes like when we were both feeling down and no one is putting the other person up, we'll just put ourselves even lower than we are. And be like, okay, that's wrong. We shouldn't have done that. We should get back home or whatever.
I thought sometimes it's really too, like, when we're both crying, we just call each other, like, because you can understand it easier. Like, I can talk to Jay and Morgan, too, about it, but, like, really, I have, like,
She's an exchange student.
had the same situation where, like, mostly we live the same stuff at the moment. Like, when we said we both said at the same time, so it's like, this talk then.
Do you feel like having Jay and Sydney and Morgan, did that help having sisters, though, make you feel more at home, having people there?
Yeah, it does, because, like, I had Jay always as my friend when I came here, and then, like, there are more people through Jay, and Morgan was always there.
Yeah.
So I always had somebody to talk with, like, not my parents, because, like, hard to talk to your parents about some stuff, but then, like, always, like, we're there, and I could talk about everything with them.
All right, let me ask y'all this. So knowing what that feels like, to feel that in between, like you don't really belong back at home, but you don't really belong here, how weird is it to think about going home, where you're from, and then feeling, because if you're here feeling that, you're like,
how are you gonna feel
that? But then going back home and feeling that, I mean, does that?
Sometimes me and Jessie feel like we have so many inside jokes. We talk to each other in Spanish. We have like things like pancake, cracks, and all that. And like just we get that stuff, and like we're friends over here, and they are the only people who get it. So when I go back home and I'm like, pancake, they will never understand what I'm saying. They
Right.
will never understand what taco was means.
Right.
And I'll miss that so much.
I
And like, it
know.
makes me cry sometimes. Like, I'm gonna miss it so much.
And that's for me, like, with Jay and Morgan. Like, I'm gonna miss them. Also, Rooney. Like, I know Rooney's country is kind of, like, next to my country, so it's, I can, like, visit her. But, like, to Jay, it takes long. Like, I bet I'll just come back in a year or something, so it's kind of hard.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
to,
know.
like, leave my new family. It's just weird,
Like
though.
a new family.
Yeah.
When I think at home, I miss my mom, but I know I'm gonna see her again, like, in a year.
Exactly.
But
Here
those
you don't
people,
know.
like the people here, I don't know if I can come back, like, if everything works and I can come back to US, so it's like,
That's
I
a
know,
good
it's just
point.
weird.
It's a different kind of missing because you know
Yeah.
you'll see your mom, but then you don't know when you'll get to see the people again.
For this, like I used to have a really hard time for this, and I used to think, okay, I'm missing my family, but every time I would call my mom, she'd be like, Jesse, just don't think about it. You're already gonna see us. You're already gonna live with us, and that's what made me like cherish every moment I have in here because it's the only moment. Even if you come back, you're not an exchange student. First thing, and second thing, like. Okay, obviously I'm gonna see my host family again, but I'm not gonna see people in here. I might never ever see the exchange students in here. And like you feel bad because the moment you know, okay, I've connected, the moment you know you're gonna like be the same way you were home and you were just like taking a sticker off something and putting it on another place, and when it sticks right, you just take it again and just put it on that place, and it's really hard. You don't stick the same way.
Right.
That's a really
That's a
good
very
analogy.
good, yes.
Who wants it, Miss Kathy? You want it?
Yeah, let's go to phase 4. So the last one is acceptance and engagement. And it says you'll eventually re-engage with the people and community of your homeland. After a while, you'll be able to look back at your time as a foreign exchange student with fondness while appreciating your home. So at some point, just like here, where you went through a time of feeling abnormal and like, I don't fit here, but I don't fit at home, whatever. And then all of y'all at some point settled in and you felt like, okay, this is where I am now and I am okay with it and I'm belonging here. And the same thing will happen when you go back home. It'll probably be weird at first, good at first, then weird and maybe frustrating, and then you'll finally reach the point of saying, okay, I'm back.
This
I
session is
belong.
making me cry.
I don't want you to cry.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to, so don't
Same.
cry.
Oh. But, or do you want to straight?
Yeah. The thing is, Miss Caffey, and like this, going back home and appreciating everything. Like I've had, let's say, since I've known I'm accepted, and even before, 6 months I can say of orientations, going almost twice a month and taking orientations. We came here. It was terrible. One thing, you had to be taking from the kids that from the same country and be with kids from other countries, have the same orientations, and you know everything. And I was like, you know what? I can tell you everything you're gonna say right now. It's the same. And then still, when you live through it, it's so different. It's hard to remember it. Like when I'm going, okay, I don't feel like I belong here. I don't go, okay, I'm going through that thing. It's just hard. You're like, okay, I just want to go back until you have to force yourself to be in that place again.
We had that thing before we came here, those orientation stuff, and they taught you so much stuff. And then we were in New York, like when we came there, everybody was like had a jet, like because we fly that long. And then they taught like 4 days, just the whole thing over and over, and I can't remember anything out of it. I couldn't, like, they taught us so much stuff, like also insurance. I don't know what I have to do. To be honest, I don't really
I
know
just
what
give
I
it
have
to my
do.
host mom.
Yeah, that's what I did too, because they talk so much. Also, when you came here, a lot of people told you stuff. Like when you, like I talked to you, now more and more, I couldn't remember anything.
I know.
I was like confused.
It's overwhelming though.
Yeah,
too.
like my mom was talking a lot of me like rules and what I should do, and I didn't. It was just hard. Like everybody was talking to you, and you didn't even realize because you couldn't understand stuff.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I couldn't even understand what the people were saying.
You know what happened? Like when we were in DC, we were having like this orientation thing for like 1,001 time, and like me and one of my other friends, we're like, you know what? We have traveled so much, we're barely just like, we just went to like the medical person over there, and like we're sick or whatever, and we skipped all of this.
Did you really?
Yes, I'm like kidding. Like, and she's like one of my best 16 student friends, and she remembers all those times. And we really pretended that we were sick or whatever.
Oh my
And
goodness.
we escaped all that part so that we can finally sleep in the hotel or whatever.
Yeah.
It was the
you're
best decision of my
exhausted.
life.
Yes.
I was so badly jet lagged, and I don't know what they were expecting.
Yeah.
Even, I mean, I think you can imagine a little bit, because even the people that you got in New York, the people that you stay like 3 or 4 days with them, even the people that you share room, you kind of miss them.
Yeah.
And if you miss them for people that you just know for 3 days,
Yeah.
imagine the people that you have known for 1 year, and
I know.
you kind of know that
Sweet.
some of them you are never gonna see again.
I know.
Let me say something.
Jesse, please talk about Toby.
Yeah,
Are you
I'm
talking
gonna
about
talk
that?
about Toby.
Oh my gosh, your
So,
sisters.
this thing, the one I wrote on my experience, we met Toby for 2 days, literally.
Less than 2 days, probably.
Yeah, less than 2 days. Toby, basically, we had a deaf student with our group, so all his family is deaf, so he was the interpreter. He's the only one who can hear them. So it was his first language, and interpreting and literally just talking with his hands all the time. I know I'm a Christian and I'm very straightforward, and I used to judge a lot of people, but like that's what I said. When you learn that you can love someone in here in such a short time of period, he's an atheist, and he does not believe in anything I believe in. And I only saw him for 2 days. So he was with us, and like we made such a strong connection. We cried the whole way, like ugly crying.
Yeah.
And I was like, really, that's how I'm gonna cry when I leave y'all. And it made me even way more emotional. Started crying the whole day long. Everybody was like, okay, just cry it out. It's hard. Like if you can relate, I do not understand that I can relate to such a person. I'm still talking with him. She's still talking with him in 2 days, literally.
Yeah, and you're
That's
always
sweet.
like, oh my gosh, we miss you or whatever.
You know, the good news is because now, you know, you have technology to
Yeah.
stay in touch with
That's
people
the truth.
here, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. But,
FaceTime,
you know,
all
your
that
social
stuff.
media really is
Yeah.
a positive benefit.
I
in my
cannot
opinion.
believe how people did it like 10 years ago
Yeah.
without all these
I
social
know.
media.
We just wrote letters.
No, it's
No,
not.
like being an exchange student.
Oh yeah.
No. One girl. Can I just say one girl like who came like 20 years ago or something? We know her, an exchange student. And literally, when you got here, they didn't have checks and all of that. I have to, okay.
I'll
They
take
didn't have checks and all of that, and she like got all her money at once. And when she did that, the family just they were liars. They took all her money. They said let's put it in the bank. They took all her money. The girl did not have any money.
Oh my gosh.
And then like until people knew about her, there wasn't social media or phones or anything. Just mailing letters. So, and then people got her, which is like my host mom's grandparents, they got her and gave her all the money and all the things she needed. I mean, she's still connected with them, but it's really hard.
Yeah.
And you can't talk with your family. You can't, she might have like died in here. No. It's really scary.
Hopefully people wouldn't know. Okay, Rudy, do you have one more thing to say?
I was gonna say like in New York I met this Mexican girl and she was going to be exchange student too. Right now, like we talk every day, like how's it going and everything. It's really helpful.
Good. Okay. So that is the good news, like Miss Wells said, is that y'all are exchange students at a time in history where you do have FaceTime and Skype and all the social media stuff. So that is good because I think you guys really will be able to keep up with people in a way that even people I went to college with, I don't, you know, if I had had all that then, maybe I would have kept up with them in a way like that. So take advantage of all of that. Keep those connections because it's part of who you are.
Yes.
And like you said, your experience where you had those people that you met in New York for just a couple of days and then you realize you missed them, that's because it's part of your life that you lived and you shared with another
And like
person.
you can never forget it. I will never
Right.
forget how much I cried for.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yes. Okay.
It
so
just tells me like we can love so much. Like we meet people, new people all around. Like even when we are in your own country, you know.
Yeah.
But in here it's like so different. Like you can love so easily and like miss so easily. Like it's
I
different.
know.
It just
I
makes
know.
us more human. I
It
guess.
does. It does. Okay, so I have a little bit of homework for y'all. Oh, you can hold the llama while I talk. Okay, so I have a little bit of homework for y'all. This little page that I gave you is kind of our post-assessment thing. And what I'd like to do is have you fill it out on your own time and then schedule an individual meeting with each of you sometime before you go. So I just want to get together. You can come in for lunch. We can meet after school, whatever. And, or 8th period, because I know some of you are going to catch 8th period. So, and just kind of talk through it together. And so it's just, what have you learned from the group? What do you wish we had more time to discuss? Because like Ms. Wells and I have talked about, for the exchange students coming next year, we want to do this again. Because I think it can be helpful. But I want to take information I've learned
And
from
maybe
you.
at the beginning of the
In the
year.
beginning of the year,
Yes,
exactly.
Yes, that's important.
Yes, and I
It
want to
would
take.
support
That
a
would
lot.
help.
Yes, I want to take what we've learned from you and help those students even more.
Yeah.
And then from my experience as a foreign exchange student, I have learned my biggest struggle, and upon returning home, I most look forward to. So I want to individually visit with each of you before you go home, okay? All right, any other questions or anything else? Thank you girls so much for being willing to do this. I have learned so much from you all, and I've gotten to know you a little bit better, and that's been really fun. So thanks for being willing to do this. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I love it so much.
Good.
I love
I'm
it.
so glad.
Yay. We've talked about maybe going out